We go.
All right. So good morning, everyone. Those of you who are here, congratulations on taking time to learn something today. I actually put a PowerPoint together this morning based on something that I really thought was important, like talking about thinking like a CEO. Your business begins with you. But also this morning, Debbie and I were talking, well, the four of us were talking, it was only four of us at the moment. And she said, attitude, we have to have the best attitude every morning, regardless, right? And it's kind of something that was embedded into our head every day as a leader. You're going to have bad moments, you're going to have some hard times, but you better be in the best attitude possible, because your energy is contagious to everybody else around you. Nothing worse than having a leader in an office or an organization who's walking around frumpy, because that's what's going to create the environment, right? So today, after this morning, I read my daily, and it says failure is an inside job. Rockefeller, which was one of the richest men in the world at the time, right, said, contentment comes from having a positive attitude. It means expecting the best in everything, not the worst, right? Expecting the best in everything, not the worst. We're talking about an agent who is all concerned and worried about every aspect of the transaction. Just stay in your lane. Remaining upbeat, even when you get beat up. See, we always try to, whenever we're getting beat up, we fall right to the ground and we give up for the day or the week or whatever it is. Seeing solutions in every problem, not problems in every solution. I was like, why? Those are the gossipers. Those are the people who are making assumptions, and see, negativity is easy, and seeing solutions in every problem versus seeing problems in every solution. Believing in yourself, right? And he talks about believing in yourself, even when others believe you failed. See, that's the biggest problem we have in our own success, is we worry too much about what other people think about us. And that's holding us back. Holding on to hope, even when others say it's hopeless. Being very optimistic on the outcome. No matter what happens to you, a positive attitude comes within your circumstances and not your contentment. So rely on positive attitude today to get you through difficult circumstances. Regardless of the things that you go through, you got to keep positive, because you still have a life to live. You still have people that you need to lead. You got people around you. And believe me, life gets hard sometimes. Look at Fred. Starts having massive pain yesterday, right? Goes to the hospital and has to have a emergency surgery. I bet if we call Fred on the phone right now, he's like, everything's good. I'm better. I'm alive. I'm breathing, right? So it's easy to go, I'm in so much pain, and be lazy and tired and not upbeat. Everyone goes through health things, or someone they know is going through health things. Put things in perspective, right? As we were visiting our daughter on the third floor after her surgery of her colon being removed, it's very emotional. A friend of mine was on the fourth floor with his child that was dying of cancer. So put life in perspective and be positive, right? Be positive in everything, no matter what you're going through. So how is this going to be in relation to what we're going to talk about here today? I'm not going to fly through this like I usually do, but I'm going to be very considerate. If you guys want to take pictures, I can put this whole PowerPoint into the chat box where you guys can have it after, okay? Michael, I love your post last night. I read it all the time. I might not make a comment or anything on them, but yeah, I love your posts, bud. So here, I'm going to share my screen. And
hey, Tom, can I just add one thing that I think is a critical thing? And this was something as a bold coach that our coaches, when they were coaching us, really challenged us to think about. And that is, what's inside your control and what's not inside your control. Because I get stuck focusing or being frustrated or being mad or being angry or being impatient around things that are not in our control. For instance, and I hate to challenge you like this, if you're waiting in line and the line's moving slowly, I'm sorry, but that is outside your control. So you can sit there and be pissed if you want. You have two choices. You can leave the line or you can stay the line and work on your attitude. But if it is outside your control, you've got to let it go. You've got to ask yourself, is this inside my control? And if it's not, spending one moment fretting or complaining or being frustrated is only hurting you when it's outside your control. And by the way, it is a daily moment by moment question that I have to ask myself all the time. If it's outside my control, then I have to work on my attitude. If it's outside now I have two choices. I could leave the line. I have control. What do I have control of? I have control over staying or leaving. But being frustrated is a choice. Yeah. And so many times we get upset, even with our buyers and sellers. The lender calls us and says, we need to extend the loan 3 days. And you know that your buyer has the truck on its way. It's already left wherever it's coming to come pick up their stuff. And we're now delaying closing. We're upset. We are upset because that wasn't part of our vision. But is that inside our control or outside our control? It's outside our control. Calling our buyer to say, guess what? You know how the movers are almost to your house and we're not closing today. Their reaction, is that inside your control or outside your control? Both of those things are outside your control. Now, do you have frustration with the lender? Yes. Is that a valid response? Yes. Are you empathetic with your buyer? Yeah. Is that a valid response? Yes. But you don't own either of those things. So when you call that buyer and you say, oh my gosh, I am so upset and I'm so frustrated, just got a call from the lender, we're not going to be able to close today. I have my mover come on. Yes. Yes, you do. And it is really upsetting. I know. What are we going to do about it? But it's not blah, blah, blah. Yep. Not fair. Frustrating. Might cost you extra money. Yes. All those things are true. But what are we going to do about it? Because the fact is, we're still not closing today. And I am empathetic. I will help you strategize on, by the way, movers deal with this all the time. Movers, this is not uncommon for them that at the last second, something changes. So, yes, it all sucks. But the reality is both of those things, both the lender and the buyer's response, outside my control. My job is to remain calm and to strategize solutions. Okay, what are we going to do from here? What is the strategy? What is the next step? And to remind everyone that's freaking out that all these things do suck, but we have to figure out doesn't change the fact that this is the reality of it. So let's see if we can get a plan together to overcome this challenge, right? So remembering what's inside our control and outside our control really can help us maintain that calm. We can be upset about it. We can be disappointed. We can be frustrated. We can be empathetic with the buyer because it's going to be terrible for them. But the reality is it's outside our control. So let's remain calm so that we can help everyone else around us strategize solutions.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. So I say this in every morning. This is what I do. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's not because I'm a recovering alcoholic. It's because I read it because it helps me start my day properly every single day, and it helps me with every aspect of my life, right? So that is something that I read 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day. Even when I'm in line frustrated, I go right back to the Serenity Prayer. Honestly, it is said so many times in a day. It's I have it on my walls. I have it everywhere. It helps me through my day. So all right. So I'm going to dig into our presentation for the day. You guys ready? So we talked about presenting, think like a CEO. Okay. So your business begins with you, right? You're the business owner here. This is your business. You're the CEO. You're the chief executive officer. You're the COO. You're the chief operating officer. You're whatever you want to call that, VIP. You're the whatever. But you have to think like a CEO. If you do not think like a CEO, you're just an employee collecting a check, and you're working for a buyer and you're working for a seller. You're not running a business. So let's go ahead and get through some of these tips here. Think like a CEO. The first thing you need to do is you need to create energy. If you cannot create energy, you are failing as a CEO. A CEO is someone who is upbeat, someone who's going to create the energy. Two things that create energy is purpose. Who are we? Identifying who you are. And where are you going? If you're the CEO, if you're the captain of the ship and people are trusting you to take you on this cruise and they don't have a map and they don't know where they're going, it's just going in circles out to sea. The captain of the plane, if they don't know where they're going, who knows where you're going to end up, right? So purpose. Create energy, and the two ways of doing that is having a purpose. Who are we? Where are we going? A plan. What do we do? What do we do? And how do we do it? See, an action plan. What do we do? How do we do it? And then implement. See, so many people will put a plan together and then they don't do anything. They let it sit there. Well, that plan doesn't work. Well, of course it doesn't. It's got dust all over it. You can't even read it anymore. And by the way, when you get up in the morning, you don't do anything. You know what? If you have a calendar and you don't utilize it, or you put stuff in your calendar and you don't stick to it, why even take the time to even write in there, right? So two things that will create energy: purpose and plan, okay? The next thing a CEO needs to do is they need to engage talent. Now, people are the most critical, important component of the growth of your business. Who will get us there? Now, if you're a single agent, who do you have to become to get to where you want to go? What is your role and what's the opportunity? See, if you're hiring someone, you're hiring them to get you to a certain location, and then you're offering them an opportunity at the end. Hey, you know what? If you join our group, Tiffany, we'll help you get your real estate license, and then blah, 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 right? What's the opportunity? See, it's not just an employment position. You have to create an opportunity to keep relationships, and then that's where the relationship stays and grows strong. I was talking to one of the agents yesterday that runs a team, and I said, who's going to be taking over your team? He goes, well, it's my team. I said, no, it's not. It's their team. You're the CEO of it. But you know what? Sooner or later, you have to step out and let them run it. Who is that? He goes, well, I don't know. I said, we'll start identifying who that is. He goes, well, I'm not ready for that. I said, what about in 2 years, 3 years? You need to be ready. So as Liz is growing her team, she needs good people who will get us to the next level of production in this team. What is their role and what's their opportunity? Okay. You have to own the results. It's no one else's fault that you're failing or you're not getting the results that you desire. It's not my fault. It's not Debbie's fault. It's not EXP's fault. It is your fault. Two important things to own the results: profit. If you don't know what you're going to earn, what do you even, it's like a destination that you don't have any roadmap to. You're just trying to wing it and get there. And what will you keep? I was sitting with an agent yesterday who's getting into the business. It's someone that I know very well, and I'm going to spend a lot of time with to help him. And I said, what's important to you in real estate? To if you come in your first year, how much money you want to make? 6 figures. I said 999,000. He goes, oh no, 100,000. I said, okay, perfect. So that means you have to make about 200,000 in income to earn $100,000. He goes, holy cow, really? I said, yeah, you're running a business. If you have a 50% profit margin, that is one of the best operating businesses that you can find. Most teams are 25 to 30%. Restaurants run on a 20 to 22% profit margin. Most businesses will thrive on a 25% profit. See, us as realtors, we have the privilege and opportunity to earn 50% profit margins. Get the book called Profit First. It'll really help you. Profit First. Philanthropy. Who else will we help? I believe our GPS organization has a lot of philanthropy within it. Who else are we helping? How will we help them? Right? So there's a lot of us that are helping organizations. There's a lot of us out there that are contributing with our church, right? So if you're just stashing all your profit and your knowledge and you're not helping others, how is that going to be productive for you and your legacy and your future, right? Think like a CEO, okay? Next, I put it all together. Think like a CEO, create energy, have a purpose, have a plan, engage talent. You can see I put this together because if I would have had someone that knew how to put a good PowerPoint together, it would be nice and pretty. All right. So just deal with it. It is who it is. It is what it is, right? ChatGPT did not put this together for me. It is my words. And actually, it's not my words. I stole this whole presentation from someone. This was a 2-day class, by the way, guys, that I had going to. It was amazing, by the way. 2 days just on everything we went through. But because you have to do each item when you're creating energy, purpose, plan, you got to create all that. Engage in talent. Who are the people? Start identifying people that you want in your world, right? So think quantitative and qualitative, right? So an agent was talking to me, he goes, yeah, I'm going to go to this company because I'm going to get a bunch of brand new agents to join and I'm going to make a ton of money and I don't even care if they stay. I said, wow. Wow, can I put that on public record and put it out there and let everyone, hey, who's writing on my thing? Elsa, are you able to write on there? How come you're doing that? How did she do that? I don't know. Anyway, I just, was that you doing that? How did you do that? So I said to him, I said, I know you better than that. Wouldn't you want to take new agents and help develop them to make up the best that they can be for their family? Because everyone you bring into an organization, you are responsible for 3 people. So if you're bringing on an agent, Liz, you're not just bringing that agent. You're not developing that agent. You're developing that agent and you're growing with that agent because they either have children, a husband, a spouse, whatever it may be. So you're directly responsible for 3 people for every person that you lead. So don't look at, oh, I have 10 people. No, you have 30. You're directly responsible. So when you don't want to get up and do the thing that you need to do, why don't you go and tell Claire's kids that you're not going to help Claire get to where she wants to go because you want to sleep in today. Right? So think like a CEO, and hopefully that presentation can get you to step back and then start doing some exercises within it, right? All right, so if I need to create energy in my environment, I think Krista, is Krista on the call? Krista, she spoke, she's there, she's probably walking or something. But Krista and I talked about—
I am sorry, I couldn't find my button.
No, that's okay. Krista and I was talking about something about some of the things in South Florida. And I said, well, Krista, you create the energy with Jessica. Didn't I tell you that?
Yes. And we are.
Exactly, right? So this could be a good format for you and Jessica to sit down and go, all right, how can we incorporate this as our plan, right? You have direct responsibility for yourself and for others. If it's not there around your environment, create it, right? Don't stand there and wait for someone else to create it. Create it, right? So I'm going to put this whole PowerPoint into the chat box, and you guys will have it. You can do whatever you want with it, and boom, it is there. So if you want to take notes on it, if you want to do a plan on it, I hope that it helps you. Now we're going to open up. This is your time. Ahas. What did you think? It's your time.
So Tom, I appreciate that this was so powerful and impactful at the same time that we've gone internal to be able to have that resonate from our head to our hearts as to the responsibility in changing the mindset from an employee mindset to the CEO, and getting us back into that entrepreneurial mindset. So thank you for that grace, and thank you for that time space to be able to make those subtle corrections and that self-awareness. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Claire, for saying that. And here's the thing, if you're on a team, you're the CEO of you and whoever else you can bring into the team and the environment. You have talents, that's why you're on the team. You have more talents, you have different talents than your team lead does. That's why you're on the team. So your team lead isn't the best in every area. That's why they hire teammates, right? That's why a football team has a quarterback, a running back, and it has, the quarterback can't play every position. That's what makes a team. Everyone's good at some area. Get the talent, find the talent. And if you can't find it in realtors, when you're out at a restaurant, oh my gosh, you'd be amazing in my business. I would love to meet with you and talk to you to see if you'd be interested in an opportunity. Because that's what I seen in Tiffany, one of the first times she's thinking I'm an AO, I'm thinking, holy cow, this is something we need in our group, in our organization, right? And thankfully she thought of me differently after the first couple meetings. So but when you go find, you have to find talent. Talent isn't just going to come and say, hey, I'm talent. Hey, I'm interested. Hey, I'm talent. It may happen, but out of the 24 years I've been in the real estate business, looking for top people, no one's ever come running and said, I want to be with your group because I'm a top individual.
You know what else, Tom, I wanted to say is that I always go back to that a great CEO does not look at what's in it for me. They look at what can I do to make other people grow, because they realize that the more people they help get what they want, the more that they're going to get what they want. So it's just really that simple. Help other people get what they want, and you're always going to get what you want.
And I'm a huge fan of John Maxwell, right? And he talks about that all the time. He says,
Isn't that the law of reciprocity?
Yeah, it 100%. Yeah, it is. It'll come back 10 times, the 10x, the 10 times, you help one person. He made the speech he made when he's going, everything worthwhile is uphill, right? He said, if we had a domino effect and I helped Claire and Claire helped Michael and Michael helped Sasha and Sasha helped Liv, before you know it, within a few months, this world would be a better place. It's that simple. So the impact you make on one person is going a very long way. You're just probably not seeing it immediately, but you'll reap the rewards 100%.
And you see that every day on these calls. Honestly, you see that just the people helping each other, you see the return that it gets, and people say every day how this impacts them. So, and for people that are new to business, to real estate, and have not ever experienced other ways of doing things, this is so unique. And I'm so thankful to be here.
Unique is you know, I can tell you being and DJ's been in the industry a long time, and so have I. I will tell you, people they could care, and brokers, they don't care about you. One, they're going to tell you to your face how much they care about you. And Liz is a testament to that, right? She was with, I'm not going to badmouth the company, but she was with a previous company and a team. And I invest in you. No, you don't. You don't invest in me. You're looking for something for yourself and you haven't invested. Go ahead, Liz.
I was gonna say, I can attest to that. Like, I mean, I haven't been around as much as these guys. However, I've seen firsthand where different organizations, they only look at you as a dollar sign, guys. Like, if you're not producing, you're just a dollar sign. And after that, it's forget it. Who are you? We don't care about, you know, Mateo, we're not gonna talk about the name of the company or the name of the team. But, I'm just saying, like, it's real. And I actually had an interview with an agent to potentially join my team the other night. And I had my entire team on the call because as I told him, I said,
You
look,
need to.
like,
Yes.
yes. And I'm like, and I actually called Ibrahim Hussein and I told him, I personally thanked him for that, because if you want to join my family, everyone has to be in agreement. And if there's one no, guess what? You can't join us. Like, that's just what it is. Because I'm not going to have one cancer to destroy what we have created as a team. And that's just how I feel. And that's what it is. But excuse me, there was no but. And we had the conversation and I'm like, look, like, you don't know what you don't know, right? Because you're brand new. This is what it is. However, everyone on this call is attesting to the fact that we are a very dynamic group. We're very unique, as in, you are not a dollar sign. We care about the individual person and the individual goals. And you're not going to find that elsewhere. I said, everywhere else, you're a dollar sign. So unless you're prepared to be, you know, just to be treated as an employee, that's all you're going to be to them. And what's it called? Just like any corporate America job, you're not hitting your goals, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're getting cut. So just when you have an entrepreneurial mindset, and being a servant leader, it's about you as the individual. And I mean, I don't know. I'm just like, people are weird. People are weird.
It's so true. So you think about thinking like a CEO, who you surround yourself around will also determine the direction and the success that you have. Michael.
Yeah, I really like the presentation. I think one of the things that kind of stood out to me, and Claire touched on this, is connecting the head with the heart. I think we like to think that we're, you know, logical agents, but really, majority of people will still operate out of emotions. And when we talk about having the energy to work, the energy to get up in the morning, it's really tied to your emotions, right? So if you're not feeling great, or you're feeling like a loser, or you're feeling like, you know, you're upset about something, that could affect your behaviors. And if we're talking about CEOs, I've had a bad CEO, I've had good CEOs, right? And the good CEO that I remember would go in to the plant. He would go in and talk to people and ask how was their day, and care about the people. I know, Tom, you talked about you're not just bringing on one agent, you're bringing on 3 people. You're not just bringing on one person, you're bringing on 3 people, that person's wife, spouse, child, or whatever. And if you have this attitude like you don't care, even if that person that you're bringing on is a superstar, they're not going to work hard for your team because they don't feel like you care. And I think that's very important to understand that, you know, because when that bad CEO came in, the morale went down. People didn't work as hard. People didn't care as much. So I think that's very important to understand that it's not just logic. It's not just, this is the best logical thing to do. It's like, what emotions are going on through this person that I could maybe help with, you know, I can encourage that person. So
100%. So the sharing of the knowledge, the sharing of all the stuff that we can provide, the sharing of who we are, and given the pointers to help you grow is critical, right? So one person will take something from this, or two people, and they're going to thrive. You know, we do an open house class. One person will, or two people will go and do open houses, and it changes their business, right? Things in these calls is critical. No matter what your level of production you are, you have to be purposeful and also remember who you're around. Claire.
So in being a CEO for life, it was interesting because most of y'all know since Saturday of last week, I have been celebrating my mom's 75th birthday in the Keys because that's where she wanted to go. And it's interesting in reflecting on how we carry ourselves in our daily lives. And speaking with people that you come in contact with, the Airbnb managers, the servers, the owners of the restaurants, the owners of the boats, you know, the captains, the first mates, the people that you're greeting and meeting, you know, that are serving you, you know, and searching for that talent, and, you know, constantly asking bigger questions. You carry yourself differently as a CEO. And it's not like you could turn that hat on and off. At least for me, it's been my experience. I don't know how to turn it off. So I just enjoy what I do at such a great level that it is ingrained in my blood. No matter where I am, I want to treat people in my daily life just like I treat my people in my business life. So that head and heart connection in looking for talent or appreciating somebody's service, and it all becomes a part of that because you're having bigger conversations with people. You know, I had a wonderful time on a charter boat yesterday, caught bunches of fish, had a ball. I was out in the big blue water that everybody knows I'm probably a mermaid. So it was in speaking with the captain and the first mate, they had so much fun with us because we were not pretentious. They had fun with us because we treated them as human beings, not as servants. So I know that the majority of the great CEOs that I like to follow treat people as human beings and don't treat them as servants. So John Maxwell did a great book, The 5 Levels of Leadership and Being a Servant Leader. So those are the things that help me on a daily basis. Just in my everyday life. I know when Liz was on our team in Jacksonville, when she was new in the business, I was like, these people are human beings. And if we serve them with greatness, all will be well. You know, it wasn't about the numbers. It was about making sure that their lives were filled and meeting their goals. However, it was about the whole thing that you've been talking about, Tom. Your whole life is a CEO. And it's not an act, it's an action. So thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I wanted to share something, Tom, that I feel like, you know, as a CEO of my life with my family, my kids, and even, you know, within EXP, I have found in the last 2 years that I really just want to work with people who I like, right? And not everybody gets to be in my sphere anymore. As before, it was like, oh, yeah, that's a free for all, right? Just come and be here. And so now, you know, I have all these ladies in my group that are amazing. Some of them are here in this call, and I'm really grateful for them because we're all building each other up. We're the on-team, right? We're all solo agents, but we sought each other out and we're growing together. So definitely, you know, just making sure that your surroundings and the people that come into your life are just going to be, you know, modeling, you know, your values and your ethics. And that just makes for a happy life, a happy CEO life.
Absolutely. Yeah. the better CEO you have, you are, and the better the people around you, the simpler life becomes, right? You don't need the drama. You can be highly successful and get. I had an agent that worked for me, and she was the top producer in the office, and she was very unfriendly, and she was very she would snub everybody. So when I became the team leader of the office, she said, I just want you to know that nothing's going to change on my setup because I have a free office and you're not going to charge me and blah, 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 and went on and on and on. I said, actually, you're the first person I have on my list that I want to talk to, that those things are going to change. And she said, I'll leave. I said, I'll help you pack. And she goes, well, I'm calling the OP. And I said, I don't care who you call. It's not his decision. It's mine. So if you decide you want to keep this attitude or be the person that is pushing people away, matter of fact, what stunts our growth in this organization is you. And she didn't talk to me for a long, and she's still there, by the way, guys. It was the best conversation ever. Because it was this thing that she had in her of, I want to be someone like this. And it just kind of changed everything for her too. It changed everything for her. It changed everything for the environment. But you have to call people out. Sometimes you just don't know what they're going through and why they have that wall and that shield up. Sometimes you got to be able, if you're a great leader and a great CEO, you'll break into that. Because then you'll get permission to.
Let me tell you a quick story. Like last year, I think it was, because I do business coaching as well outside of real estate. So I called that I had an interview with this lady that was thinking about hiring me as a coach. And all she told me was, I want my people to be here on time because they're not making me money if they're not here. I want them to help me build this business. I want them to, this is what I expect of them because I want them to make me rich. And I said, first thing I said was, what are you doing for them? And her thing was, I don't have to do anything for them. I'm paying their salary. And I said, you know what? We're not a good match. I cannot coach somebody that thinks like that. And she was blown away. I don't think anybody ever told her anything like that. And I wouldn't. And she called 3 times afterwards and said, will you please? No, that kind of negativity I don't need in my world. I also choose that when I recruit. I don't want negative people in my world, so, you got to choose. And part of being a leader is knowing how to make those choices and how to stick to your guns because money's not everything.
That's right. So I just put a note in the chat for Liz, but I'm going to just say it outright. I've interviewed nearly 4,000 agents in my time, and one of the things that I come to realize, and DJ and Debbie and Claire and Curtis know this because we've even done it when we brought people to our organization, right? If you're meeting an agent that says, hey, I'm interested in the company, blah, 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 and I'm interviewing other brokers, the first thing I say is, what's your goal? Why is it important to you? And what do you want to get out of this meeting that's going to help you the most? And by the way, when you do interview other companies, if they never ask you that, go ahead and leave because they don't care about you. They only care about how much they're going to make from you. And they're going to tell you how great their company is, but they're never going to ask about what's important to you. They're not going to ask you about who you are, what kind of, how many kids do you have? What's your family like? What are your dreams? So those are things that make our organization different. That's what makes our organization different. So Lizette.
I'll be very transparent. I don't think I've earned the right to talk this morning. I came in so late. But the few that I've heard, I do want to share that, lately for me has been, I think especially after the summit, the leadership part of it is looking at, putting on my big pants on, right? Like big girl panties on, I say. And, wanting the best for others is having those tough conversations, right? And I've had conversations and people in my team where it's been like, no, this has to stop. This has to, and when they pause, and I think before I used to be afraid, oh my God, they're gonna hate me. But no, they're like, you know what? That when somebody says, you know what, you're right, and I'm like, yes, I did it. This is exactly it, right? Like you want the best for them, and at the end of the day, when we are in leadership, and I'm talking about real estate right now, what's the main goal? They talk about they want to make extra income to take their kids on a vacation, XYZ. But if they're not getting to their goals, and you're not, and you know what's wrong, and you don't say anything, you're not their leader. You are not their leader. What you're doing is standing next to them, and you're just as a hypocrite as anybody else. So those are my 2 cents. 2 cents.
Hey, Lizette, we know you're driving, so it's hard to see that you've gotten lots of hearts and waves and thumbs up.
And Tom was talking, but he's on mute.
I didn't hear anything. Yeah, I was like, what's
Oh.
going on? What is he saying? What is he
Oh,
saying?
I look up and Tom is just, I'm like, what is going on?
So what the toughest part about being a CEO is having the tough conversations when you first start growing an organization. And I will challenge every one of you to get the book, 5 Levels of Leadership. And Krista, if you haven't gotten that book, definitely get that. And same thing with Liz. If you're running an organization, get that book and really kind of learn it and internalize it. And then the second thing I would say is there's a
Let me interrupt you just a second, Tom. Get it on audio and keep it in your car. That's what I do.
Yeah, and that's good. I love audio. So the second thing is I help a lot of teams, and I'll say, hey, he's like, I'm really struggling. They're not doing this and they're not doing that, and blah 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 blah. And I say, okay, it's your fault. Right? And he goes, why is it my fault? I said, because you're the leader. They leading by example, number one. So number two is there's a thing called the confrontational model. The confrontational model. It's a 7-question series. If you fill this out, be very specific and say, hey, Claire, listen, we need to meet and I need 3 minutes of your time and I just want you to hear me out. There's some things that are going on that are very uncomfortable in your behavior lately. And here's what they are, blah, 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 and be very specific. And then go through the 7 questions of things. And before you know it, at the very end, Claire is coming clean, right? Claire is coming clean because you're being specific. You're being vulnerable yourself, and you're being honest. And when you do that to someone that is a hungry, humble, and smart person, they're going to own it and they're going to grow through it. If they're just someone that is a Mr. Know-it-all, Mrs. Know-it-all, and they're not coachable and they're not learning based, they're going to be confrontational with you. And that's the best part right there. Oh my gosh, we're not a fit. You see how it's just not coming together? So it's like a deselection. So as a CEO, one of the toughest things, I'm like, how do I fire people? Oh, I just know that I don't fire them. They deselect themselves. Right? So 5 levels of leadership, the confrontational model. So as you're growing an organization, as you're growing a team, as you're growing a business, if you have a transaction coordinator and you're a single agent, and hey, you know what? Go through that confrontational model. Let them know, because you don't know what was bugging them that day. Don't go find a new transaction coordinator. Just work with them. You might find that becomes a stronger, better relationship. So think like a CEO. When you have a CEO mindset, it's not about you at all. It's about what you can do to grow others.
Yes.
All right, it's your time. You got 10 minutes. And I'm peacing out.
I do, can I make a quick announcement?
Announce.
If anybody's thinking still about going on the GPS cruise in September, let us know. I just spoke to the travel agent during the week. I think there's like only 4 cabins. So she's asking if there's anybody else that's going, just so she can do numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Is
it.
what Tony Fuentes needed. Is what Tony needs, the 4 cabins.
I love how Tony looks up kind of back and then I see Elsa's back there. Yeah, that's awesome.
So Elsa, tell me, how are you hacking my PowerPoint? How did you do that?
I don't know, I was trying to make it bigger.
Oh, wow. And it
And I was trying and
good.
then I wrote on it. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, I don't. I mean, I was like, how's that happening?
Maybe you have the option to share with everybody.
Oh,
Be careful about that.
yeah, I don't know. You got it now. Now you can make it big.
Hold on, guys. I'm gonna cut the recording.